This is Mike O'Reilly, Vice Chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission in the town of Monroe. I am the acting chairman for tonight's meeting. Today is June 4th, 2020, and it is now 7:04. So I hereby call to order this meeting of the Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission. So I have to read 4 pages of introductions, which you've probably heard before, but please allow me to read them. We ask each participant to identify themselves so we can put your name next to your face or your number. We'll start with the members. So when I call your name, please respond. You hear that?
Try to leave my keys.
All right. Leon Ambrosi.
Here.
Can you hear me? All right, good. Bruno Maini.
Present.
Ryan Condon.
Present.
Robert Westland.
Robert Westland, present.
Dominic Pancina.
Dominic, present.
Ron Snyder.
Here, present.
Okay, now staff. Rick Schultz.
Present.
Will Agresta.
Present.
Georgia Contonis.
Present.
And Sarah Stroud.
Present.
All right, I don't think there are any invited speakers. Is that correct? I hereby
That's
declare
correct.
that we have a quorum and call this meeting to order. Copy of the agenda and any related materials have been posted to and can be found on the Town of Monroe's website for public inspection. This public meeting is being conducted remotely in compliance with Section 1 of Governor Lamont's Executive Order Number 7B, dated March 14th, 2020, using GoToMeeting electronic conference technology. Using this technology, the public shall participate in real time in this event by computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone using the access information set forth on the meeting agenda. Please be advised that each meeting has unique participation information, so be sure you have access to correct meeting. Notice is hereby given that only 250 participants may access this remote electronic public meeting at any one time. Access to this meeting uses technology is granted solely by the technology provider on the first access basis and is not controlled by the town of Monroe. While it is anticipated that you will not exceed this participant limit for this meeting, it should appear that we are approaching such limit so that any member of the public is denied access to this meeting. I, as chairman, reserve the right to adjourn and continue the meeting at a later date using technology appropriate to ensure all members of the public may participate. Please take particular notice of the following regarding this remote electronic public meeting. Number 1, that this meeting is being conducted in real time, that this meeting is open to the public, that any member of the public may listen or view this meeting anonymously, that this meeting is being recorded, and while we ask you to mute your microphones unless recognized to speak, so that anything you do say or display on your screen may become part of the recording. The recording shall be posted on the town's website within 7 days. The recording shall be made available to the public within a reasonable time. This meeting shall follow standard parliamentary procedure. However, I ask all participants to follow these special rules in addition. Please mute your microphone so as to reduce background noise at any time you're not speaking. Prior to speaking and on each occasion, please clearly state your name and title for the record. Please do not use the chat feature. It is prohibited and will not be considered during the meeting at any time. As set forth on the agenda, this meeting will not feature public participation. We have no written comments. Now we will turn to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, allow me to cover some ground rules of this remote meeting to ensure effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure an accurate recording. I, the chair, will introduce each matter on the agenda. If a vote is anticipated, I will ask for a motion and a second. After introduction of the matter or upon motion, I will invite each member by name for discussion. After all members have had an opportunity to speak for the first time, I will repeat the invite to each member in the same order until there is no further comment. Please hold your comments until all are recognized. Everyone will have an equal opportunity to speak. Upon the conclusion of the discussion, I will call for a vote on the motion if applicable, or take other action to conclude each matter on the agenda. All votes taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call. Please remember to mute your phone when you are not speaking. Also remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate an accurate recording for the minutes. Any questions? Good.
No, sir.
All right, so then we're going to call the roll, starting with Leon.
Leon Ambrosi, Commissioner.
Bruno Maini.
Bruno Maini, Secretary.
Brian Condon.
Ryan Condon, Commissioner.
Robert Westland.
Robert Westland, alternate.
Dominic Paniccia.
Dominic Panitia, alternate.
Ron Schneider.
Ronald Schneider, alternate.
Good. There is no public participation today.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Dominic.
this is Will.
Oh, well.
In the absence of our chairman, you need to seat somebody. The next one in line is Robert.
All right, the chair would like to see Robert. So
We don't
Robert
need
Westland.
Do we?
Yes. All right, so we have the bond release. It's the first item on the agenda. This is SCP 2018-10, file number 1605A, 234 Main Street. Sip and Energy.
Mr. Chairman, just a point of information from the public, if I may.
Who is speaking?
My name is Joel Green. I'm an attorney in Bridgeport. And I just note that there was a public participation was part of the meeting agenda. And I'm wondering when that was amended or changed to eliminate public participation. And I apologize for interrupting you, and I have great respect for the process and order, but I note that it was a matter of public notice that there would be public participation.
Rick, is there public participation?
This was something that the chairman decided to not provide because of the circumstances, but it's your call,
Well, we
Mike.
can have public participation, and let's do that now.
Once again, for the record, my name is Joel Green, and let me start my camera here. I'm not shy. Here I am. So my name is Joel Green. I practice law in Bridgeport with the law offices of Green and Gross. And it's my pleasure to appear before you on video conference on behalf of Peter Metropolis, trustee of the Thomas C. and Stella Maganis 1988 Family Trust. Now, the trust owns the property at 36 Timothy Road. And what I'd like to speak to you about just briefly this evening, because I know you have a short agenda and the weather's great, and I know everyone, I appreciate your having the meeting. But we want to just discuss with you briefly 64 Cambridge Drive and 4 Independence Drive. And I know that the commission and staff are very familiar with this property. And I really wanted to take a moment of public participation to express just briefly some of my clients' concerns about the activities that are being conducted there. Now, I'm aware that almost a year ago on June 25th, you had a meeting with the owner of the property to discuss the activities. I have reviewed the files of the town, and I'm aware that there are no open permits from the zoning department or from this commission for any activities to be conducted. But I'm also aware of a letter dated July 2nd from Mr. Schultz to the owners of the property, where this commission had agreed in cooperation with the owner to allow certain activities. So my client has significant concerns about the nature and extent of the activities, and I think my client is aware, and I suspect that the town may be aware that there are activities being conducted on the site by the owner that, first of all, are not permitted in any way because there are no outstanding permits at this point, but also exceed the cooperation that this commission lent to the owner. And for example, there's material being trucked onto this site. There's filling going on. There's material being excavated. There's material being removed from this site and being sold from the site. And once again, there's no permit for the conduct of these activities. Now, at present, an application for a wetland permit was filed within the last 2 weeks with the Inland Wetlands Commission, but that application really addresses issues within the jurisdiction of inland wetlands. And, you know, while my client and I suspect we have significant concerns about sort of the character and nature of the activities that are being conducted. And if the owner were here, the owner might say, well, we are doing good things on the site, or we're trying to remedy this site, or whatever the owner may say. The fact of the matter is, and as this commission is aware, you have to have a permit, whether your intentions are good or your intentions are bad, or whatever the activity is. You have to have permits and the consent and the review by this commission and the fair exercise of its jurisdiction. So I just want to use this moment of public participation to formally and for the record bring to this commission's attention the fact that these activities are being conducted. I know that Mr. Schultz has been actively involved, and he's been generous in his time with me in explaining what's happening on the site. But I would urge this commission to take a look and to get involved. And I know you've been involved in the past. I know you're concerned with the way properties are used in Monroe. And I think that this property really demands your concern and attention. And I just wanted to say that and bring that to the commission's attention. I don't know if you have any questions for me. I'm sure that Mr. Schultz can fill you in on some of the activities that are going on the site. I know that this is not on your agenda this evening, but I would ask that under either new business or in your discussion, perhaps you formally have a report on your next agenda and that you take this matter up and investigate the circumstances. I won't take up any more time. I greatly appreciate your patience. I don't know if you have any questions for me, and I also appreciate your interrupting your agenda to allow public participation.
Thank you, Mr. Green, for your comments.
Thank you.
Is there any other public participation? Okay, well then let's move on to bond release. First is, as I mentioned before, SCP 2018-10, file number 1605A, 235 Main Street. That is Sippin Energy. And I have a letter from Dave Sippin requesting the release of $5,500 cash bond. And I have a letter from Scott Scotsland, the town engineer, who's recommending the release of the bond contingent upon replacement of one dead spruce tree. So the chair will entertain a motion on this. Are there any motions to grant this bond release?
Motion to approve the bond release for SCP 2010. I'll be honest with you, I don't have the rest of the numbers written down.
Yeah, Commissioner Bruno, can you identify yourself when you talk to? Okay.
Oh, sorry. Commissioner Mayini approved to release the bond SCP 2010. I don't have the rest of the numbers written down. I apologize.
So there is a motion to release the bond. Is there a second?
Second, from Ambrosi.
All right, we're gonna have to call the roll on this.
Mr. Chairman, this is Will.
Yes.
Point of clarification, Bruno, is your motion including the recommendation for the contingency on the replacement of the dead spruce tree?
Yes.
And Leon, you're good with that too?
Yeah, second.
Thank you.
Well, what was the file number again?
It's SCP 2018-10, file 1605A.
Okay, I'm good.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll call the roll. Westland,
Westland, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Mayini,
Mayini, yes.
Ambrosi,
Ambrosi, yes.
and O'Reilly, yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Second item on the agenda is a bond release, SCP 2018-12, file number 1607A, 575 Monroe Turnpike, Little Steps Daycare Center. I have a letter from Tony Herrera asking the commission for full release of the bond. I have a memo from Scott Schatzland, town engineer, who is recommending the release of the $5,500 bond contingent on no, wait a minute, sorry. $2,600 bond contingent on cutting fabric flush at grade at the siltation control fence.
He wants the silt fence removed, and by doing that, you cut it at the grade so the piece stays in the ground and the rest
Okay,
comes up.
so to remove the fence.
Yep.
All right. Do I have a motion on the bond release?
I'll make a motion. Commissioner Condon, motion to approve file number or application number SCP 2018-12, file number 1607A. With contingent.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is that Bruno?
Who's
Yes,
that?
sir.
Bruno, second. With the contingent?
Yes.
Contingency? All right, we'll call the roll on this.
Mike, are we releasing the whole bond or part of the bond?
The entire
The
bond.
whole bond, $2,600. All right, any other questions?
No, sir.
Call the roll. Westland,
Westland, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Mayini,
Mayini, yes.
Ambrosi,
Ambrosi, yes.
and O'Reilly, yes.
5-0, motion passes.
That brings us to the next item on the agenda, pending meeting minutes. Does everyone have a copy of the meeting minutes from May 21st, 2020?
Mayini, yes.
Westland, yes.
Good.
Ambrosi, yes.
Are there any changes? Or if not, we'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from May 21st as drafted.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from May 25th as drafted.
May 21st, right?
May 21st.
21st.
Second, Ambrosi.
I have a motion and a second. Now, I believe,
Same 5.
same 5. We'll call the roll. Westland,
Westland, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Mayini,
Mayini, yes.
Ambrosi,
Ambrosi, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, we'll go to correspondence and other items received. I believe there are none.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Rick or Will, is there anything else?
Nothing for me. This is Will.
Nothing for me, Mr. Chairman.
Anything else from the members of the commission?
Commissioner Mayini, I'm just wondering if we want to talk about the, what Mr. Green talked about.
I'd like to ask for maybe an update from the town. I know we kind of had a timeline that it was somewhere around this time we were going to hear something. So maybe we
Yeah,
can reach the land use attorney.
Yeah, Rick Schultz, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Staff will prepare a update, and Special Counsel Vin Marino, I spoke to him today before I left work, and he is prepared to address the commission.
All right, then I guess we'll see that on our agenda.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, it's Bruno Mayini again. When is that going to be ready for, Rick?
Oh, I'm prepared for the next meeting if the chairman wants to put it on that meeting. Attorney Marino is available for any meeting forward.
Now, Joel Green said that we approved some stuff on that. We never approved anything on that, right?
No.
Now, where do you get that notion from then?
Well, it's complicated, and let staff put together in chronological order what's happened. Inland Wetlands received their application last week. Pete Metropolis filed intervenor status. So there's a lot going on right now. So staff will put it in letter form, and you can read it, and we'll put it on the next meeting.
Okay, so you'll put everything in letter form. All right, I'm good with that.
Yep.
I agree with Leon.
Okay,
Oh, and before we go, Rick Schultz again. At 575 Monroe Turnpike, if you haven't seen the upgrade there, I want to thank the applicant and staff. It really came out nice. It's a major upgrade for that child daycare center.
Oh yeah, it looks fantastic.
Very nice. And I think the chamber group is probably going to get involved in giving some type of an award.
Commissioner Mayini, I think they did an excellent, excellent job over there. It is absolutely beautiful.
All right, if there is no further business, the acting chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Commissioner Mayini. Oh, beat me, Ryan. Motion to adjourn.
Second, Ambrosi.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah,
Thank
the
you
time
all.
is 7:29.